Rita from Rita Unfiltered. And so, I got something for you. I remember there was a while I had gone on a trip to West Africa, and I had gone to Abidjan, which is in Ivory Coast, for those of y'all who don't know your geography and don't know your map. Anyways, I had gone over there, and one of my neighbors here in Kenya, they are from Abidjan, and he was like, how are you going to Abidjan by yourself? How come you're not going with anybody? And I was like, I'm a solo traveler. I like to do certain things by myself. And he was like, no, I'm gonna call my cousin, and he's gonna take you around everywhere. So I was like, cool, great. Hit up the cousin. And the cousin was like such a gentleman, y'all. The West African man. I really enjoy them, It's not like I don't like my Kenyan brothers here, but there is something about a West African man, y'all. They like women. And they let you know that they like you. And they are really gentlemanly. Now, I'm not saying that they're not philanderers like, most African men are, right? But they got their eyes on you if you feel like a lady. Anyway, so, like I said, I've never even met this man. I don't even know nothing about this guy. This man literally planned all 3 days for me. He apparently had some trip he was going to, and he was like, when my cousin called and told me you were coming, I didn't want him to have you come here by yourself. I was able to reschedule everything. And it's like, imagine somebody that you don't even know rescheduling their schedule for you so that they can show you a good time when you're in the country. So anyways, this guy picks me up from the airport. He was like, I'm gonna drop you off to the hotel, you're gonna check in, and then I have like a whole night plan for you, right? And then even before I came, literally he asked me, he's like, what do you like to do? And I was like, I'm with it, you know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all be doing locally, run me the same thing. So he drops me off to my hotel, waits for me in the lobby while I go check in, go upstairs, change myself, had to gussy myself up now. I've been traveling for a while now. So I went, did my thing, came back down. So he had planned for us to go to this like really nice restaurant that was like right along the river. Now, another thing, West Africa is hot, y'all. Ooh, it's hot. Okay, I'm from Miami. Miami is hot, but not no West African hot, not nobody's Singaporean hot. I had lip sweat 100% of the time, all right? I came down trying to be cute. It didn't even work, y'all. I had to go ahead and slap my hair back up into a ponytail, and I was like, all right, look, like feeling full perimenopausal. Anyways, go downstairs, and he booked us this restaurant that was like a really popular restaurant, like that was right on one of the rivers that had like a lot of live music. And the one thing that was like really amazing about Abidjan was all of the live music, y'all. Kenya, we have so many talented people. There are so many talented musicians, artists, and everything. But it's like, wow, there's no real like live music scene out here like at all. And in Abidjan, I mean, it was like everywhere. You could be in some little, a little go down, and somebody up over there with their little guitar doing a little strumming and doing a little singing for you, understand? Anyways, it was really, really nice. So we go to the restaurant. And the way that the restaurant was set up is like you walked in and you were kind of like, you were up in opening area, and then you would go down some stairs, and then like the whole restaurant was laid out and everything was like outside, right? So there's like this big, beautiful river that's there. There's a stage on the left-hand side. The main part inside was there, and then you go down and it was just like totally open, right? So it was beautiful. So me and Mohammed looking for the waiter, finally catches the eye for one of the waiters, and then says to the waiter, this is our reservation. Go down to where the water is, and then we've got a really nice table. So we sit down, we order. Now, he doesn't really speak English that well, so it was really kind of fun for me because I've noticed that when I go to French-speaking countries, after like a day or two, my French really starts to come back. So now we're at the table. So it's a 3-person table. So imagine that one side is the water. There's a seat here, and a seat here. I'm seated here, Mohammed is seated here, and this seat is empty. And now there are tables all around us. So we ordered food, we're talking, we're listening to the music and all of that. And then he says to me, do you want to switch sides with me so you can actually see the band better? And I was like, yeah. So we switched sides. Now I'm over here, Mohammed's over here, and this seat is empty. And he was like, so, like I have a girlfriend and I had invited her to come with us. That's why there's 3 chairs here. But she told me that she was sick. I was like, oh, well, I hope she feels better. So then he says to me, you see that table right here? This seat is empty. I'm here, he's here, and there's a table right there. And there was a couple at that table. There was this young girl over there with this kind of older man, right? Like, it looked exactly like it was looking. So he says to me, see that girl that's over there? So I'm looking at her. I was like, yeah, what about her? Super cute. He was like, that's my girlfriend. So said, well, what you mean that's your girlfriend? He said, remember when I told you I had a girlfriend and I had invited her to come? She called me and told me that she was too sick to do that. So I told her that's fine, just stay at home, and that you and I would just go out. He was like, that girl is sitting right over there. That's my girlfriend, and she's out on a date. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at him. Because it's not clicking in my head, y'all. It's not clicking in my head. Because I ain't never, ever seen no grown-ass man maintain that level of control, that level of self, where he could sit there and see his girlfriend on a whole date with a whole nother man, knowing it's some sugar baby nonsense. And I was like, are you serious? He pulls out his phone and he was like, I was just with her yesterday. That was from yesterday. He said, they've been together for like 3 years, y'all. 3 years. He looked at me and he said, Rita, what would you have done? I said, who, me? Oh! Because now y'all gotta understand, when we first walked into this restaurant, up on them steps, and he was looking around, he had already seen her. We walked past them, we sat down, and remember, he was on this side first, so he was directly looking at her. I didn't even know that he knew her. Nothing changed on his face, y'all. Nothing changed in his demeanor, y'all. Nothing. When he was like, yo, you wanna switch sides with me? I was like, well, yeah, that's nice. That's really sweet of y'all. That's because this man was looking dead in this bitch's face while she was kikiing over here with this grown-ass nigga over here. And he was just like, okay. I was a defense attorney for damn near 15 years, okay? I worked in nothing but domestic violence only for almost 2 years. I have seen some shit, okay? I'm telling you, me, myself, personally. I was like, I would have turned this motherfucker out. Dead ass. I was like, oh, I said, you would have known my reaction the minute you would have seen me up on the top of them steps. You understand what I'm saying? I would have cleared this motherfucker out. The only way that he was about to get over is you gonna have to jump into that river. And knowing the way I am, I'm an aqua woman. I probably would have run up in that river too and would have drowned this nigga. You all understand what I'm saying? Here's my man, chilling, normal, like it was nothing. I promise y'all, if I had not seen it with my own 2 eyes, I would have never believed it. Like I said, I worked in DV for years. I've had people telling I pulled a gun on him. I ran him down. I stopped him. I had a client where one day he done burned the girl's apartment down, okay? And here's this man, one table away, watching her, and was like, okay. So now I was like, what you want to do? He's like, what do you mean, what do I want to do? I was like, you want to go home? You want to talk to her? He was like, no. Today was what we had planned for you and I to be able to hang out so you could see our city. He said, I've got another place for you to go after this. I was like, you sure? He's like, absolutely. So literally, this girl finishes her date with this man. She gets up and walks out with her sugar daddy, right? Because she's not trying to fuck up that check that she got over there. We finish what we're doing. We now go to another bar. And again, it was like another live place. It was like great music. The vibe was awesome. We're hanging. Now that girl blowing up his phone. This girl says to him, that was my uncle. That's who that was. That was my uncle. So he's showing me the messages. I was like, here you go. And I was like, yo, I'm telling you, I have never seen a man with this level of composure and the ability to self-regulate like this ever. So he used to play professional football, soccer for y'all Americans. And he had said that he used to have a coach when he was younger, where one of the things he taught them was to be able to have control over your emotions. Because if you don't have control over your emotions, you gonna go do some wild shit. Like myself, like I said, I'm gonna clear this motherfucker out. Sorry, not sorry. And he was like, ever since those days when I was playing, his teachings and this ability to have mental clarity was amazing. He could do a TED Talk, like real shit. He could have done a TED Talk. He should be teaching some of these folks that, all this wife beating that's going all up. He could be teaching some classes. That coach definitely needs to be teaching some classes. Anyways, it was like a wild night. He just ended up blocking her. And then we just kicked it for like the rest of the night. It was great. And then like the next day he picked me up and then he took me outside of Abidjan to like the beach areas. And we just kicked it for like 3 days. And it was like one of the best trips I've ever taken. Such a gentleman, so cool, so easy. For those few days, my French was very good. And the food was delicious. The people were really amazing. The city was really fun. And I would definitely go back again. So shout out to Muhammad, showing a female like myself that there are men out there who have the ability to control themselves in situations that are very highly charged. Abidjan. Thanks, Rita Unfiltered.